Well, hey everybody, this is Annie Noodle, and I have kind of a long one here for you today, so we're gonna get started. And I want to get outside because it's really nice out. So this is a Hippickle. It is a hippo that basically can jump in between half-empty pickle jars. So if you open your fridge one day and you look in your half-empty pickle jar and there's a hippo in there, you know why. And then it'll just be gone. I don't know exactly how they do it because they are hard to observe. But yeah, I don't know if they morph through the glass or if they teleport. Yeah, they haven't told me yet. So yeah, one of the things that I really have wanted to do for a long time is make magnets. And that is what I'm working on right now. So I have a piece of glass that is safe to put into my little oven dealie. And I'm just basically doing a relief sculpture sort of thing to try to make it look like a hippo. And so I have the piece of paper underneath to sensibly, for once, give myself some sort of idea of what I'm shooting for. I am never this sensible. I must be maturing. It only took me until I was 46 to do that. So, yeah. So this is just Sculpey. And it hasn't baked yet, obviously, because if it had, I couldn't smush it with this little tool. And I don't think I bake her at all until she's totally done being sculpted. And I had a lot of fun making this. I mean, I feel like I should talk about that more. It's really fun to sculpt, and I really want to do a lot more sculpting. I've been wanting to do more sculpting for the last year. Look at all this cat hair. I wonder where that came from. Anyways, so that's McFly. He is my studio cat of the week. And he definitely contributed to this project. Yeah.
Why are you so floofy?
This is the disaster that is my desk. And it's very foggy looking because apparently my lens was dirty and I didn't notice. That's future video right there. Yeah. She is actually a cast 2, and you'll see the mold that I made that I used to make her, but I cast her with epoxy by just pressing epoxy sculpt down into the mold. And it's not horrible, but yeah, I think I'm going to do a lot more with resin in the future now that I'm less scared of it. I have been building up supplies to make molds and do resin casting for years, and I scared myself off of it probably. Thought it was too complicated and too hard and too toxic, and yeah, I'm still alive. And no, she's not baked yet. I just had stuff stacked all around her, so I'm glad that she didn't get smashed. Oh, my life's a hot mess. Oh yeah, I did have this giant pickle jar that I used for reference, and yeah, a Hippickle did not show up in there. I was really hoping one would, but it did not. So I'm also working on this illustration at the same time. So the Hippickle is for my upcoming book about unknown creatures of the United States. And so the Hippickle will be in there. This exact illustration will probably be in there. It is also what month is it? March? Yeah. So it's the February illustration for my Ko-fi. Man, I really wish that it was more obvious how you're supposed to pronounce that, because I suspect it's supposed to be coffee, but it really looks like Ko-fi. Anyways, so my Patreon subscription thing. Usually it's sent out around the 15th. This month, my very lovely people kind of had to wait a little bit because of all of the projects for this video. So they haven't gotten their prints mailed out yet because oh yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that it was winter here again for a while. It was really weird. We got a lot of snow, and it got cold again. It is 80 degrees today. I don't know if it's actually gotten up to 80 today yet, but record-breaking temps. But I love the blue and the orange of a new snow at sunset. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. Oh, I was going to edit some of this out because I tend to sweep upwards when I'm recording video. I don't know why, but I always do. And I'm like, oh, that's making me dizzy. I need to do that less. So if you see me doing that more in my future videos, definitely remind me. See, I'm still doing it. I do this all the time. I just sweep upward because it's like grand. And I'm like, it is grand, but it doesn't have to be in every shot. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I meant to come and edit this more. And now I'm not gonna because I'm doing a voiceover. We're done here. Professional. So I wanted to record these cool little nubbins that show up on the branches because I'm like, gosh, that would be really cool to do with a sculpture. Like if I did some sort of ice monster, like a ice dragon, or just like some sort of the monster that shows up behind the shovel when you leave it there in the winter and you forget to use it because you're lazy. That kind of thing. Anyways, so now we are trying to wipe down this sculpture a little bit with rubbing alcohol to make it a little bit more smooth before I move on to the next phase of sculpting. And I think she's looking pretty cute, actually. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience sculpting yet. So I'm pretty happy with how unstressful the sculpting process went with her. I'm adding little pickle bumps because she's not just a hippo, she is a hippo pickle. So Hippickle lady has got to have bumps on her. It's important. And it was really fun to add these. It's so fun to watch people pick up little dots with their little tools and attach them to things. I watch a lot of people sculpting little mini charms and stuff with polymer clay, and I just love watching them add tiny details that are tinier than this even. But yeah, it was fun to do as well. Okay, so this is a slightly futuristic Annie who just spent 20 minutes recording audio for this, only to have DaVinci Resolve glitch and somehow delete my file. So if I sound a little bit more down for the rest of this video, that's why. I will also be stopping with great frequency to make sure it's not being weird again. I'm saying that more for me than for you guys because, yeah, I don't want to forget that I just lost a bunch of time. Anyways, so okay, it was really hard because I said all this stuff and I don't remember what I said. I have baked my Hippickle and I am using this really old mold putty. And here I am pretending that I can do this editing trick. I cannot. Because it really only works if you can have everything in the exact same spot over and over again. And no. Anyways, so I make my own fun. Yeah, and expect to see more of that kind of glorious editing in the future, in future videos. Yeah. So, anyways, Hippickle. I love the way she turned out. I'm using this really ancient mold putty, which isn't really, in my mind, good enough putty. I mean, good enough mold for her. For what I wanted. which is okay. Also, it's really old. I've had it for a few years now, and I think there's an expiration date on various mold things like this. So, yeah. And you will see why I think it might be, if not expired, then getting close to expired. One of the reasons is that when you mix the parts A and B together, it's really hard to get them to actually, like, homogenize. Sorry, that was me sniffing in the background that I apparently didn't edit out. And then I didn't edit it out again when I lost all my voiceover. So yeah, if you look at shiny, it is super greasy. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. And then I realized that I messed up anyways because I didn't cover up her little footy foot enough to like really make a full mold. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that when I was putting the putty on her, but I did. And I don't think I ever even tried to cast out of this. I think I was like, I don't want to deal with the foot thing, and I remembered that there's that other foot was really, really thin too. So I just went to this, which is making a mold out of fake Legos. I don't know why I had to add more sound effects when you can hear them, but it was fun for me. And it made me feel like a crabby Pokemon. Yeah. So the idea now is that you're making a mold box out of fake Legos. And this does work. And you may have seen other people do it. And then I have her sitting on a piece of freezer paper just so that it's easier to get her out of the mold. And I don't know why this footage is all jerky like that. I have no idea. Yeah, here's me thinking I'm clever. So I want to measure the amount of silicone I'm going to need for this by using craft rice, which is just ancient rice that I won't use for making food anymore. Yeah, and this is how that went.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you get real-time Laughing Annie and voiceover Laughing Annie. Anyways, but the rice thing does work if you're not a doofus like I am. So here's kind of a list of the ways that I messed this all up. First of all, this silicone is also clearly ancient. It should not be that runny. It shouldn't be translucent. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I didn't have a cup to mix parts A and B of the silicone in, and so I used that old gelato thing, which isn't really that great for that because it's hard to scrape because it has like a lip, so it's hard to really scrape things. Oh, there's me. Hello, me. Yeah. Also, I just like the way that the Hippickle looks like she's in kind of murky water. Yeah. Anyways, so I couldn't really scrape very well out of there, and so I eventually did just go and buy cups. Yeah, and then it leaked everywhere, which it probably would have leaked regardless, a little bit, but like usually silicone is thicker than that, so it wouldn't have just like dumped out like that. So, yeah, and by this time I clearly know that this mold hadn't set up correctly, as it's solid now, but it feels like jelly, kind of. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's not really a functional, even if there had been enough in there for her to be covered completely, it just, yeah, it wouldn't work as a mold because it's not rigid enough, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, and so then this was super fun to pull apart because that stuff was super sticky. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, this is just like a continuing saga of every single thing that could have possibly gone wrong, going wrong. And I learned a lot. And I'm really sorry if I said all of this before, but like I said, I just lost all of my saved voiceover. So I don't mind when processes explode like this over and over and over again, because I learned a lot. I learned about being more careful with like placement of things so that my mold completely covers. And I learned about like, hey, I bet this silicone doesn't work and it's probably too old and I should just throw it out. Yeah. So, and I learned that this little fake, what's the word I want? Faux Lego, actually does work for mold making, which is cool. So this is what silicone for mold making is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be thick like that and opaque, and when it sets up, it's supposed to be more rigid. Yeah. Also, I don't mind. So I went back to Joann's and got this. So I think it probably was still old, but it was like not old enough to be bad. And yes, I did run out and have to mix up more. Like I messed up every possible thing I could making this mold. Yeah. I should have measured with the rice again now that I had a real cup. I love making art, guys. It's always fun. And then it's also ridiculous because I'm me. Yeah. So this one is hard and didn't leak everywhere. Partly because I didn't take apart the like block matrix, so I left a lot of the old silicone that had run through it in there, so kind of like made a barrier. But look, it is a mold. It's an actual mold of the Hippickle. Like it is an actual thing. It worked. I have this other cup that is actually a cup that has like I can use this to measure for the resin. This is also very old resin. I must have had this. Nope, I got this at Joann's. I got a lot of stuff for this project at Joann's because I kept going there because they were, going out of business. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I might as well see if I can use any of their resin and mold stuff. Yeah. And so this is me making a giant mess. It is going into the mold. It doesn't really look like it. Like it's a weird angle, but it did go into the mold. And then I started finding out that when resin is old, it does this. It makes giant poofies on the back of your stuff. Which I was not very happy about. And I haven't figured out why old resin does that yet. But the casts, I think, still turned out good enough that I will do something with them, regardless of the fact that the resin is clearly old. And this is my first pour, and I did not notice that I didn't fill up her leg. And so this particular cast I'm keeping for myself. And the rest of the casts, and again, I'm so sorry if I've said all this, but like I just cannot go back through everything again. So the rest of the casts of my Hippickle go to my 1-year Ko-fi members, or like intervals of a year. Every year that you have supported me, at the end of that year, I do something cool. Last year I gave everybody original paintings, and this year it was Hippickle magnets. So I made these Hippickle magnets and I have sent them off to my Ko-fi supporters because you guys are awesome. Some of them don't watch these videos, which is also fine. Like I'm okay with it. Yeah. But so one of my friends who doesn't actually watch my videos, I went to his house and he had my video playing and I was like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, for one thing, it's awkward. Oh yeah, by the way, these are supposed to be white. Do you see the white on the box? They are not white, which is another clue that this is really old. But I do like this fast cast resin. I'm going to have to get some more of it because I really like the opaque resin rather than the clear resin for the projects that I have in mind right now. Yeah, so anyways, I went to his house and I was like, what are you doing? You don't watch my videos. And he was like, oh no, but I went for a walk. And when I go for a walk, I just turn on your videos and then I leave the house so that like you're getting watch hours from me. And I'm like, man, like when you have like friends that support you, like, yeah, it is just such like an amazing feeling just to like, and like, of course it's not like a huge deal, but like it is such a big deal to me that he did that he does that. I'm like, man, that's so nice. And he's like, well, I don't always remember. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, like if you do it once, that's already like, like, thank you for thinking of me and trying to make my life better. Like, wow. Anyways, so Hippickle cast, yeah, like doesn't she look great? So, there are some bubbles and like, oh look, I just wanted you guys to know that the spring came again. See, I don't know. I saw this like little like creek that was running across the sidewalk, and it just looked really pretty. And I don't know, like when I was growing up, I used to like to play in puddles a lot and like make little rivers in my driveway. And here I am like scanning upwards again with my video. I'm not doing it next time. Yeah. And here's my desk that exploded in messiness again after I cleaned it up once. What's it like right now? It's actually not bad right now. Yeah. I love these little picture frames so much. So there's this big tortoise, like a ceramic tortoise that I have, that I might make a crystal tortoise and like use all these crystals to like, he needs a lot of love. And he's giant. Yeah. And that is like spoilers for a future video that I plan on doing that I haven't started yet. But I got him from Mom. So I will keep him forever, and I want to fix him because he's kind of falling apart right now. Like he stayed, Mom used to keep him outside, and he's kind of ceramic and he's kind of falling apart. Yeah. So he needs a lot of repair with epoxy sculpt, and then I'm going to give him like a kind of tortoise upgrade. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet though. Maybe I'll put up some like requests on my community tab to see what you guys think I should do with him. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Oh my gosh, it looks like a tardigrade.
Yeah. So essentially what was happening here is that like I had a really hard time estimating how much resin I was going to use for stuff. And so I just had like every single mold that I owned out so that I don't want to waste any resin. And so like I filled up that like every single mold I had, and then like whatever was left at the very, very end, I would kind of put in those like gummy bears. And I feel like this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. Once you put resin in molds, please don't use them for food. It is not a good idea. Yeah. So you can see what the original looks like with some of the casts there. And like, I think this is the last bit of resin, and it like, seriously, it poofed up like a whole inch. It was crazy. It's like a whole big chunky thing. Yeah. Oh, and so these kitty heads, I want to make art dolls out of, I think, or maybe I'll make ornaments out of some of them. But yeah, drop me a comment if you have an idea of what you want to see me do with a green cat head. Cause I was thinking Frankenstein, or a witch, or zombie cat. I do like zombies. I know I don't really come across as zombie girl, but I love me some zombies. This is the last cast, and I put so much glitter in there, and like you can't see except those two spots that are obviously big chunks of glitter. There is the full cast rainbow. aren't they pretty? I just love how they look together. All right. And so then I moved on to like me trying to deal with how that resin foofed up at the back of the casts. And so I have like one of those red handled craft saws that I'm trying to like literally saw the back off. And it worked, but it took me forever. So like this is what it looked like on the back. And I was like, that's okay, but like I still have to sand and like, yeah, I was like, no. I gotta figure out something else. So I ended up just sanding off the backs to some extent. And then they just kind of like have a little awkward back fat. But hey, like it's okay, Hippo. We all got back fat. And this, so you just saw me using UV resin to like attach the magnets and like seal the backs up. And I felt so excited about this. I then put the magnetic things in this butcher tray with some freezer paper so that I could paint them without them moving and not needing to touch them. I felt so smart. I felt so smart, guys. Yeah. And you might be asking why I'm painting over all of the like lovely green resin ink that I put in there. And I'm like, yeah, it's just because that's, I just kind of wanted them to be a little bit green for the base coat. But you can like subtly tell that it's under there. So I'm glad that they weren't just white underneath that. And then I kind of wiped it off so that you could see the glitter a little bit on the ones that had glitter. Yeah, and B, it just kind of, the paint got a little bit thick in some places. So, yeah. Yeah. So then I lose all my smart points because instead of using a brush to spread the UV resin that I was putting on them, I used a toothpick. I don't know. I have no idea why my brain was like, yeah, I know you have 500 craft brushes that aren't good for like painting, but like I think you should use a toothpick instead because it's a lot harder. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. And then I was just kind of like hitting them with a little bit of UV resin or hitting them with a little bit of UV so that I could see if I was missing any spots before we went out and like did some tanning in the sun. Don't they look so happy? I think they look happy. And that's my dude. He's going to stay with me because he's missing a leg. And I think I'm going to turn him into a pirate Hippickle. So he's going to get like a peg leg, or she. I think they're all girls. I don't know why I think that. But she's going to like get a peg leg and maybe a tricorn hat or a parrot or something. And I was going to put like her in this video where I made my little pirate Hippickle, but my dudes, I ran out of time. Like, that's it. I've been real busy. Yeah. And so here's the print that is also going, like, because when I do, like, for my Ko-fi, I do, like, a print and a sticker. And then, like I said, I did the extra bonus stuff for my year-long supporters. And so this is the print that's going to go along with it. But this print is also going to be in my book. Doing a book where I talk about the unknown creatures of the United States. And this is the Hippickle. And yeah, she lives in your pickle jars. Yeah. I'm going to pretend like my voiceover the first time was so awesome. And like I just have the dregs now. So we're just going to pretend that. Yeah. So I like that the pickle jar had a label on it. I feel like it would have been missing something if it hadn't. Although homemade pickles are really awesome. And so clearly you don't need a label on your jar, but it just adds something. And it like forces me to like contemplate how I want this pickle jar to look, because like honestly, when I look at a real pickle jar, you cannot you can't see through pickle juice. Like, it is so thick. And I wasn't expecting that, so I had to, like, you know, make hard choices instead of just copying the reference. Darn hard choices. What else was I gonna say? I am making kind of bluish glass looking stuff in here. Oh, one of the things that I think I brought up in the other voiceover before it disappeared forever was Annie needs to get over her fear of the dark. So, like, I need to get better at contrast. And yeah, not being afraid of dark colors and all of that good stuff. And I am getting better at it, but I know I can get better still. She was hard though, because like I wanted her to be the most important thing in this picture. And that was hard for me to like, yeah, like, cause I feel like the pickle juice should be darker still or more murky. I don't know, man. I love how she turned out. And like I said, she'll be in my book. Oh, cat hair. But yeah, yeah. Anyways, so then I went in with colored pencils. Oh, and I was also trying to like keep in mind that I wanted to turn her into a sticker, and cat help. And I did turn her into a sticker for my Ko-fi people, but I don't know that I will keep her as a sticker in the jar. I do have another sticker of her swimming, and I love that one. But I don't know if I'll have jarred Hippickle as a sticker going to events this year. We'll see. I have to go through my stickers and decide who I'm actually keeping and who is getting. I hate it when I break the tips of my pencils like that. Anyways, I gotta go through my stickers and figure out who's not making the cut for this year, because I can't just keep having more and more stickers. Like, there's got to be a cutoff somewhere. All right, so look, we're getting to the end of the video, and I really want to get this out today still. It is Friday. So you guys have a really good weekend. Show the Hippickle some love. Like, I am so stoked about both this painting and the magnets. And yeah, this really goofy outro where I just zoom in on her butt. Bye, guys.